Good evening, everybody. Ellarkum vanakkam. Let's get started with prosperity number 8 today. Okay, we are on day 8. When I announced I'm going to do this session last month, I announced I think early part of July, and I said I'm going to do this for 15 days or 16 days in 1st of August. It was like, oh my God, so many more days to go and all. And a lot of people are saying, Mr. Kati, why are you waiting for August? Now suddenly we are already on the 8th of August already, already on prosperity number 8 already. Yeah, that's what you call time flies very fast. Okay. So anyway, good evening to all of you. Today is prosperity number 8. Today's topic is the easiest. I prepare for my topics, right? Because today prosperity number 8 is about gold. So we talk about 16 prosperities that was mentioned many years ago. And when you talk about prosperity, many of us always think about material comfort, gold, money, the things we are very commonly that we talk about and think about. That's what we thought prosperity is all about. So I think all is well when I was talking about the last few days about courage and talent and all those things. I think there was a bit of like, oh my God, didn't know this was a prosperity, didn't know this was a prosperity, because I also myself, when I was preparing for it, I didn't realize, you see, we talk about longevity, we talked about youthfulness, I talk about valor, courage, yeah, and all those things, respect, for example, and all. Yeah. Anyway, today is goal. So goal is very easy, lah. I don't know whether I'll take 15 minutes, maybe we will finish earlier, but let me talk about goal today. Like I say, it's the easiest topic for me to talk about, because everybody knows about goal, and everybody knows goal is it's definitely a prosperity to have. Yeah, I'm sure your parents would have told you. I'm sure you heard about it, right? But let's talk about that normal. What we mean by goal here, and how do we acquire goal, and then we'll go about why is it considered as a prosperity for all this while. Yeah, gold itself, I think we all know it's an expensive substance. We know it what doesn't get corroded. It's very valuable. It's something that a lot of people have and want to wear and all, right? Actually, gold was discovered 5,000 years ago by the Egyptians. The Egyptians were the first one to discover gold. Okay, and this was 4,000 BC. So that means it become almost 5,000, 6,000 years already. So the Egyptians. That's why you find that if you go to the pyramids and all, you realize that there's so much of gold in the pyramid around that. That the mummies. Because they found gold first. Okay, that's what it is. There's ample gold in the world. In Mother, there's ample gold. Okay, there is ample gold. It's just that it's a commodity that is not easy to get because it's go through a lot of process. Okay. Now, anyway, all civilizations and cultures uses gold. It's not restricted to only the women or only the men. It's not restricted to only a certain culture. Every culture, every civilization, you see, there's gold. Okay, there's definitely gold. So gold has always been that one thing that has been from 5,000 years ago is considered as very, very important. So that is the goal we are talking about, all right, in terms of goal. Yeah. There is one difference though when you talk about gold, because I think when you talk about prosperity, I think when 500 years ago, 5,000 years ago, when we talk about gold, we talk about physical gold, gold coins, jewelry, and, physical gold. But of course, today you can also look at gold as a prosperity in terms of your investments in gold, which I talk about shortly. Yeah, investments in gold. So I think we when we talk about gold, I want to talk about both, because though when this 16 prosperity was talked about 500 years ago in India, they obviously talked about physical gold as a prosperity. But I think in the given time, I mean, 500 years ago, and now we got email, we got WhatsApp, we've got internet, which was not there, right? So I think it's only fair for us to look at, on both areas. So today I'm going to talk about both physical and non-physical, but it's gold and it's supposed to be a prosperity. So let's talk about how do you acquire them, because so you know what we are talking about now, right? Gold, either physical or non-physical, something that we can have, which will actually add value to our life. That's why it's called a prosperity. Okay, so how? So when we talk about how, physical part of it is definitely the three things. One is jewelry, jewelry made of gold, could be anything as long as it's jewelry, accessories made of gold. Coins, gold coins, very commonly a lot of people know about gold coins. People either wear it or keep it, but gold coin, or The other one is gold bars or ingots, we call it. Ingots is the big bars, or you can even have the small tiny bars, 1 gram bar, five, that kind of bars. Yeah. So these are the things that we talk about physical gold. Now, how do you acquire them? Is obviously you need to purchase them because they're physical in nature. You go to goldsmith or you go and physically buy it. If you want to acquire it and you want to have it as a prosperity. And it's very important for you to understand why physical gold is looked at it as a prosperity, because number one, it's usable. Because if it's jewelry, you can use it all the time. So it's not like you can't wear money. Money is prosperity, right? But you can't wear money. But jewelry, you can wear it. People can see it. People can see that you've got gold, so it's usable. Okay, it's sellable easily. Gold is very easy to sell, and the lawyers, people want to buy it. It's easy to sell. So that's another reason why physical gold is good. Yeah, and it's always good to keep physical gold because the value keeps going up. It was like 400 US dollars per ounce, maybe 50, 60 years ago. Now it's about almost 2,500 per US dollar per ounce. So from about 500-600 ringgit has become now to almost 7,000, 8,000 ringgit, per ounce. So obviously keeping it has helped a lot of people become rich, just like keeping land, you see. So that's very, very good. The only problem with physical gold is you need to make sure that you don't get cheated easily, because there's a lot of fake, there's a lot of mixtures, there's a lot of things. So when you talk about acquiring gold, I think it's important to know physically these are the three things: jewelry, which I think all of you know, bars and ingots, and of course gold coins. Yeah. So if you go to the right person, I'm not saying goldsmith, because sometimes goldsmith also, I don't know whether they're always honest or not. But let's say you go physical, then you really need to know, have some skill, understand that you don't get cheated, and you can buy it from the people who are licensed to sell, and that you can acquire, because it is very, very good. All right. How do you get non-physical gold? Non-physical gold, basically banks have got what you call gold accounts, where you can keep money which they invest in gold. There are, I don't think it's in Malaysia, I'm not too sure, but mutual fund companies in many other countries, they actually have got gold accounts where you can invest. The money is taken in, put into companies that has got gold or shares in gold companies, and therefore it creates value for that. You can actually go into gold futures and gold derivatives, you call it. If you know how to do like share market, like just like share market, you've got gold futures and gold derivatives. You can go in and buy and keep it, right? Now, the thing is, it's not physical. So when you go to the bank or whatever, it's not physical. So it's very important for you to understand it's not tradable. Like you see, jewelry, you can go to the pawn shop or whatever and sell it and make money. But this one that you keep in the bank and all, it's not tradable. It's not physical. So it creates a bit of a thing, but it's still gold. There is a fees involved. Where you need to pay a certain amount. Of course, when you buy jewelry, you need to pay for craftsmen, right? I mean, they do the jewelry, so craftsmen, you need to pay for it. But in the case of non-physical gold, you need to actually pay for fees for the bank to invest in gold, right? So there's fees involved. Of course, there's less risk when you go to the bank and do it, because you don't need to have knowledge. You don't have to think about it, because the bank will do a job for you. But the only thing is that the value of the gold, as it goes up, the commission is taken by the bank as well, rather than you. So you don't get, just because gold price goes up, you don't get everything. Unlike physical gold, if you keep it with you, the moment gold price goes up, you make tons of money. But when you invest through all these banks and you do derivatives and all, when the gold price goes up, it could be tricky. You can make money, you can lose money. Goes up, I guess you can make money, but like derivatives and gold futures, if it drops, then you lose money as well. So you need to have knowledge. You need to have a knowledge on derivatives and all physically, but when you want to put in a bank or a mutual fund, you don't have to. Okay, so I think gold is seen as that. But 500 years ago, when they talk about this, 16 Selvangal, I talk about the 16 prosperity, gold was mainly because of the physical nature, not the non-physical nature. But current days, of course, if you want to be considered as a prosperity, yeah, you can have the physical, but you can also have the non-physical, where you can have accounts on gold in banks and mutual funds and derivatives and all. Yeah. Now, why is gold a prosperity? There are 16 prosperity. Yesterday we talked about respect, courage, and youthfulness. Why we talk about all that, right? But why is gold a prosperity? I think you know that number one, gold is valuable. So obviously, since it's got value, and the value never go, like owning land. When you own land, it's valuable. So it doesn't matter where you have land, but your land is valuable. So that's why it's called a prosperity. Same thing with gold. Gold is prosperity because it's valuable. Gold is been always taken in because, like I told you, you can't wear land, you can't wear your money, but you can wear gold. So when people want to show that they are successful in life, rich in life, normally they wear gold watch, gold rings, gold chains. So you can see that is another reason why gold was seen as a prosperity, because to see someone is rich or not, you look at the rings they wear, you look at the bangles they wear, so you know already. Status symbol. Gold was seen as a prosperity because of status symbol. Because when people actually wear gold, people can say, "Oh, they're very well to do, they are rich and all." Yeah, of course. This is from India. In the days of India and all, I think you know that gold is one of those items that people talk during marriage, because for dowry, even some places they practice. Even now, though there's no dowry, but there's always this discussion about when a man or woman are getting married, especially Indians. Yeah, they have this thing about how much of gold you're going to give or how much of gold change you're going to give and all. Okay, that's another reason why it's seen as a prosperity. Another reason why it's seen as a prosperity is because of the sentimental value. I think many a times gold is passed on. This is my great grandmother's gold or my great great grandmother's earring, and therefore you should keep it in your family. It's tradition. So I think it's seen as a prosperity because it is something that you has a sentimental value, and which brings me to the next one, which is can be passed on. Gold is seen as a prosperity because you can pass it on. You can pass it on, and that's very powerful because you can pass it on and it's got value, and people take it that way. Understand? Like if you look at the freehold land and you look at your 99 leasehold land. So obviously leasehold land, at the end of the lease, it's up to the government whether to keep the land, or take you back the land, or what do you want to do. But if it's freehold land, it's yours. So gold is like it's freehold, it's yours. That's why it's seen as a prosperity, and that's the reason. So I want to finish off because I told you I don't have much to talk about gold because gold is a very simple fact. I think all of you know about the prosperity of gold, right? But I want to just tell you that there's a quote that says, gold is real money. Gold is real money. Everything else is credit. I mean, bank give you loan, whatever, or control item, which is of no value. Only gold is real money, and that's very true. You know why? Because you know, like Zimbabwean dollars, or you look at Malaysian dollar, Malaysian ringgit, or US dollar, you realize or not? We say last time 5 cents can buy this. Last time 5 cents can get 2 sweets. Now 5 cents you can get 1 SMS. You understand or not? So those days, when you talk about money value changes. And the money based on the politicians, like. $1 US was 2 Malaysian ringgit those days. Now $1 US is 4 Malaysian ringgit a day. But gold is different. So I think it was looked at the prosperity because gold is real money. Gold is real money. So if you want to talk about someone, is he a prosperous guy? Is he got prosperity? I think if you got tons of money, if you talk about tons of gold, I think the gold carries value more than the money itself. In India, for example, they had this certain currencies were devalued. That's it. Money gone, devalue, because government can do that and devalue. So things like fixed deposit receipt. If the bank collapses, finish. You don't have fixed deposit. It's bonds. If the government collapses, government bonds are gone. Or even shares in a stock market shares. All these people will say, "Oh, I got shares in Coca-Cola." But if Coca-Cola collapses, gone. So gold is the only one that has actually been seen of real value. That's why he says here, gold is real money, and that's the reason why 500 years ago in India, when they came up with the 16 prosperity, they said gold is definitely one of the prosperity you have. Now I'm covering 16 prosperity. I've come to halfway. Of course, I'm not following a particular order, and they never say which is the most important, which is that, because I think it's very personal. Okay, for some people, gold might be more important. Some people, youthfulness might be more important. Some people, health might be more important. But this 16 will complete you as a human being who have lived well in this world. And definitely gold is one of them because it is something that you can pass on to your family members of value as compared to anything else out there. Okay, you have a trunk load of money you give to your children, but if the money has no value, today a million ringgit, 20 years from today won't be a million ringgit, right? But if you have a million ringgit worth of gold, chances are 20 years from today the gold will be much more valuable. So prosperity number 8 is gold, and I hope you enjoyed the talk today, and I hope you understand. And I will meet you tomorrow. I think tomorrow is property, is what I'm supposed to talk about. Yeah, tomorrow. No, yeah, that's right. Tomorrow is porul. Porul is property. Porul is material comfort. Tomorrow I'll talk about material comfort, not land. Sorry. Tomorrow is material comfort. So we look at all other areas of prosperity, which is more on material comfort. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Be safe. Take care of yourself. And I will see you guys tomorrow at sharp 8 o'clock. Okay? Bye-bye.